Hey y'all, can y'all hear me? Yeah, y'all can hear me. So, hello everyone. I'm excited to do this Sunday service because I feel like it's something that we all need. We always be talking about like um, growing, healing, and stuff like that. So, I figured why not? Hello, can y'all hear me? Yeah, y'all can hear me. Look, why my thing going off? so, yeah, so I feel like today's is kind of quick. We probably won't be on here for a long period of time. Um, because my whole goal is to kind of like see what y'all want. Um, I got it all written out and everything. So I do want to kind of like give you some things about my channel and what's going on or what I offer. So this right here is going to be LT Sunday service, right? So my goal is to come on at least first and third Sunday. That is my goal. Now on here with the Sunday service. So anybody can like speak in the chat, but what I'm trying to make this is where my members, like the people who subscribe to the channel, they'll be able to actually like call in or whatever. So that's the purpose. Like if y'all want to call in, then make sure y'all go on my community tab. You should see a link where you can dial in at. So let's see. I planned for this. Like I was ready for this. So, the goal of this Sunday service is to discuss spiritual topics to help you find spiritual healing, find a support group, and kind of like a book club here. So, like I feel like when you're trying to learn about spirituality, when you're trying to dig deeper, a lot of times what happens is that you can't find anybody to help you. You feel like you're on this journey alone. So, like like I said, at least twice a month we'll come on here where you guys can actually discuss whatever you need to discuss, feel more comfortable um, with your spirit. So let's see. I hear myself. I don't know why why I hear myself. Hold on one second, y'all. Okay, my bad. I was having feedback because I was hearing myself in the background. So I'm glad you like it. So yeah. So So yeah, so the goals to discuss any spiritual topics here to help you find spiritual healing, to find a support group and a book club. Okay, so resources is going on my website at ltspiritual.com. You can go on there for your products. I just recommend you just got kind of like shopping around. A couple things that my website does offer is spiritual products, rituals, blogs, readings. Energy healings, weekly ancestor burn and healing candles, tarot classes, workbooks, events, and then I have an app that I'm going to start utilizing. That so the base of the app is where you can ask questions, but we can go in there and we can talk all day, all night, and then you don't have to be notified every time somebody send you a message. So I'm going to drop that information on the community tab for everybody to utilize. Then, so we have book recommendations. So I want you guys to kind of like think about what kind of book recommendations that you guys want to, or books you want to read. I did pick a couple, like I did three, and you guys can drop them in the chat or whatever you want to do as far as like what books you want to read. Or you want us all to read and to discuss. Because basically, what we'll do is we'll start coming on here and talking about it. I love to read. I know China loves to read. A lot of people likes to read. So if you don't like to read, you can always do Audible, my favorite. Um, but we can choose a book. We can talk about it. And I'm trying to make, and the thing about it is, I know like I was looking into other people, spiritual channels, and a lot of people like utilize Patreon and stuff like that. But I'm not going to do that because I want everybody to kind of like learn from my channel. It's not about, like putting it behind a paywall. The only thing I'm going to put behind a paywall is the, like to be able to call in. That way we can kind of like keep from having so many people call in and like, you know, it won't be too long. I mean, that was my only thing I wanted to do is like make it like, exclusive on that level here. So, the book recommendations we'll do at the end. Those are my book topics. So, the first question is, how did you start your spiritual journey? And if anybody wants to dial in, like I said, the link is on the community tab. If you're a member, you have the link on the community tab. If not, um, I'll tell you how I started my spiritual journey. So for me, I feel like I've always been super spiritual. Um, I kind of like I was real Christian at first. Like I just used to be like studying the word, um, things in that nature. But it was like when I decided to like venture off and like start researching other things, like when you read the Bible, they say like they'll give different gods or they'll give different things, but it doesn't really go into a lot of detail. I just started like researching, like YouTubing. I kind of was like, okay, I want to learn about Egypt and stuff like that. And so I feel like I've always been a person of faith. Like I always had faith. I always believe that, whatever I say is going to happen. Like if I say I'm gonna get $1 million this year, I'm really gonna get $1 million this year. I've always had that in me. Um, what did change, and I want to say what changed for me within the last 8 years was I personally like I was in a relationship with somebody, and then it was kind of a very toxic relationship, and it was my first experience with like a karmic soulmate. And I pray that is my only experience with a karmic soulmate. Hey girl. Um, so like it was like this, just this toxic energy. And so when I broke up with this person, I kind of was like in this energy of trying to find myself. And I don't even know why. I realize, well, I do realize why. Like at the time, like he was like introducing me to little stuff, and I realized that I was meant to meet him because it kind of helped define who I truly am, you know? And so, but anyway, so when I broke up with him, I kind of was like trying to find myself a little bit. And so I went and I was like, and I kind of was doing this a little bit before him. Like I was kind of like getting like looking into tarot, but I didn't really know too much about it. So then, like, I like seen little things in my area, and they had like a tarot class or whatever, and if any of you guys want to share your experience, you guys can utilize the link to call in, and I'll let you guys talk too, because y'all don't really have to hear my voice. It's not about me. It's about you guys. But okay, so anyway, back to my story. So I was like looking into stuff around here, and I was like, okay, kind of got into tarot. So I found like they had like a little class here, so at a little spiritual store. So I was like, I'm gonna go. I found it on meetups, and I was like, I'm gonna go. And so as I went or whatever, I was like, this is cool. And I realized I was very intuitive. I always felt like I got messages through my dreams. Like ironically, um, that was like really like coming through when I was dealing with that person, because I would get dreams. It was like I'll be laying in the bed with him, and like I can tell you what he was thinking. I could like how his day went. I had those dreams and it was like so vivid. So in my thing, I was like, well, shoot, I was joking around. I was like, I must be a little bit of a psychic or something. And that's what I was saying. Like, I must be a little bit of a psychic because, you know, I be getting all these dreams and they be coming true and my dreams be so vivid. And that's kind of like how it started. And so then I took a class and then I went down the deep dive of getting tarot readings. And when I tell you, your girl was not paying like how YouTube does, and you can find somebody who can read you for $5, $10, $2. Um, I was paying $30 at the minimum. It was like I was addicted because I was trying to figure out what I need to do, and then I was like leaving that situation, and then I was like going into another situation, and because my one of my best friends at the time, he was like saying that he was interested in me, and I was like, should I do this? Should I cross this line? And so it was like that's just how it kind of like just started for me. Like I just started like researching and like get well at that point I started researching as I started buying like tarot cards and they had different meanings on there. I was like it was just opening me up to like a new world for me. You know, um I don't know. How do you guys get started? If you guys want to drop it or got started in your spiritual journey, if you guys want to drop it in the chat or even call in, feel free to. But like, how did you guys get started? And like I said earlier, um, the members, there's a link under the community tab. So if you guys want to actually dial in or click on the link and call in, like, feel free to do that. But I'll give y'all a few minutes or a few seconds to tell me like, how did y'all get started on your spiritual journey? A lot of people use tarot. Like that was my introduction was tarot. I was kind of already getting into it, but tarot was definitely my introduction. I'll give y'all a second or two. If y'all don't drop anything, we'll move on to the next question. I guess y'all just learn about me tonight. If anybody's shy. Let's put this up here. I love that y'all coming through. Okay. So when you met Tay is when I got readings. I was very confused about the situation. And from there, tarot was my introduction. Same here. Like tarot was definitely my introduction. Spirituality long ago when I was younger, I used to see spirits and didn't know it. Ooh. See, I don't think I could have seen spirits when I was younger. That would like spook me out. I don't see spirits now. One of the things I did ask God, like when I was opening myself up, like I think that you need to have control over like what you want, okay? And I told God I didn't want to be a medium. Like I think I was about to cross over to that because like I was getting a lot of people. Now, I didn't ever see them, but I was hearing things from like people from the past, like or spirits. Um, I personally was like, I don't know. It'd be like, I know this your mother. Sometimes it comes to me, if it was your mother or if it was a child, I could tell you the spirit that way. But I told God, don't open me up that much. I don't want to. I know mediums, like I don't feel like you're more spiritual when you have mediums or whatever. I mean, when you are a medium, but I just felt like that was just something I didn't want to know. Now another spiritual. Oh, I should have asked y'all what's y'all spiritual gifts. Maybe I'll do that for next time. Let's see. So, okay, you started your spiritual journey when you started having deep dreams. Yeah, those dreams, like, they really change you. But I kind of shut off that part of things when I was young. Yeah. What you mean? What color was the spirits? You, for me, what are you talking about, IJ? For me, I didn't see like color. I can feel a spirit. Like there are certain things I'm okay with, but certain things I'm not okay with when it comes to spirits. I do know, like especially like when you're spiritual, you have to constantly cleanse your house because like you want to keep the good energy in, like cleansing and you know, if you're trying, like, if you feel like you have a lot of spirits in your house, like, get you some fresh mint, like the mint plant, and keep it in your house because that actually keeps good spirits in. You know, if you're trying to get just keep the good spirits, that helps. So let's see. Hey, hey, hey. As well as a child and had a thing for cemeteries. Ooh, like age 4 or 5. Mm-hmm. Like emotional baggage said, um sweep back to front from house. Yeah, same thing when you cleansing out the energy, you want to start from the back and move to the front. Your sister used to see them too. Diamond was telling me that her family see spirits, like her mom and her. Oh really? See, my mom would never admit this, but because she's like, you know, so wrapped up in Christianity that she can't think outside of Christianity. But my granddad used to have a horseshoe on top of the house. So, like, keeping out spirits, keeping out ghosts or whatever, right? But, like, that is considered hoodoo voodoo. If y'all know me, I like to say it like that. But that is considered that. It's like you're keeping the spirits out. And I do feel like we have power. And I feel like in this Sunday service, we'll start to recognize our power and like understand like who we are. It's not, I like this because it's not something scary. It's just like all of us coming together. You get what I'm saying? Like all of us coming together in a way that we're just gonna learn. Yeah, your mom. I think you do too. You just probably like that ghost. That's not normal for a ghost to feel comfortable to have sex with you. It's not normal, girl. Okay, let's see what's the next question. Yeah, because she needs something stronger. Okay. You said you're delusional about seeing spirits, but I used to see spirits in my house in the color green. I would be scared to use the restroom at night. Green represents heart, like the heart chakra, you know. So if you seen them in the color aura green, then those spirits was letting you know that they're full of love. I think that's gonna be if we do not maybe not next week, but the week after next, we'll do that question. What's your spiritual gifts? So my next question to you guys are: what are some things you practice in your spirituality? I do a lot, to say the least. So I think I'm more. If I had to put a title on my spirituality, I would say it's kind of hoodooish, because I conjure and I do hoodoo. like I do rituals, but that's kind of like what I do. So for me, I do believe in God. Like God is top on my list. Okay, like everything falls up on the God. I believe just like any other religion that of God, right? Um, I even believe in the God that's in the Bible for me. Now, so I'm all about Old Testaments. Like I feel like there's a lot of knowledge there. But another thing for me is that I do I do spiritual work. So I may do hoodoo. Hoodoo is like we don't really attach spirits to them necessarily. Like you use kind of like well, it's gonna be a little different, but like I do stuff like where you kind of like like money jars and stuff like that. I may not attach a spirit to it. Like I do um yeah, like working with the elements. That's something I'm into. I'm also into what else am I? I'm into the Orishas. I'm heavy on the Orishas. I'm heavy on my spiritual team. I do ancestor work. I do a little bit of conjure, but not a lot. I only conjure like with Orishas and stuff like that. But that's me. I pray to God. I believe there is a God. I mean, like that's my thing. Yeah, and that's the great part. You may be new, but you'll learn a little bit. So you say your grandma did have a horseshoe, and they still came. Hey, have y'all ever had? They call it sleep paralysis, where you have like a witch riding your back. I used to get that at my grandmother's house. Knock on wood, God, please don't let that happen to me either. We may talk about that too. Like I'm taking notes. Sleep paralysis, or like a witch riding your back. Basically, those two things right there, those are crazy. But my grandma, they used to have it at my grandma's house for some reason. It's like you never heard of it. Um, so it's basically like you can feel something riding. You can feel a spirit riding your back, and it feels like there's they're smothering you. You get what I'm saying? And then my mom used to always say, if you call on the name of Jesus, it works, and it does work. You get what I'm saying? Like if you call on God or but you have to realize that you have power over like your spirit over spirits. Like you are flesh, they are a spirit. They're trying to come towards you because you have power over them. Now they can help you. You get what I'm saying? So you have to. A lot of people get scared with that, but you have to be careful. You said yes, not in a long time. Yeah, like that's crazy. And I'm writing all of these things down because, like, if y'all want it to be, well, it'll be a topic of. You could say that, right? Like, I think that I mean, God does show favor to a certain degree, but I mean, when it's your time, when it's your time. Like, if it's meant for you to learn certain things or experience certain things, you will. It depends on what your journey is. I don't feel like personally. I feel like because you said I feel like God is protecting me from a lot of spiritually because He has an anointing on me. I think that God has an anointing over everybody. It depends on what way you want to go. Because saying that He has an anointing over you and not over anybody else, or saying like He doesn't have it on anybody else, and I feel like we all have our own journeys and it's different things that we have to experience. You know, like your journey may be different. Well, your journey is different from me. So you have to like feel you got to follow that journey. Like I feel like God has favor on a lot of people. Oh, I did say I was going to write the horseshoe down because we'll talk about that. We'll get deeper into some of these things that you guys are already experiencing. Let's see. So I'm new to this. I need to figure out more to whatever I have, but it started since as through dream. Yeah. So Yours, see, I like some. I don't know why it's like that, but it's like when you're I don't know. It's like when you're with a person or in a relationship like that, like those bad relationships or those relationships starts a new spiritual journey for you. Especially like you feel like sometimes you need to have this person or be with this person, but like it's something that's attached to you. You learn your biggest lessons like when it comes to relationships. You just do candle work, but for me to bring in blessings, so I'm basic. Me too. I believe in blessings. Like if y'all know me, I do not believe in um any type of um. I don't believe in doing work on other people. Like I like blessings. You get what I'm saying? Like I'll do money. If I wanted to attract love, I'll attract love. But I'm not binding nobody. All of that is for the birds. Like I ain't going down that route for anybody. Like that's not what I'm going to do. But I do feel like there is times that you have to protect, like protect yourself. Like I always say, do a protection ritual at least once a month. If you like where you are in life and you want to protect what you have in life, it's great to do a protection ritual. Like just put that in your schedule. Also, it's great to work with your ancestors. Like put that in your schedule too. Let's see if I'm missing anything. So Dumb and Dumb says, when I was pregnant with my first child, somebody's calling me and I don't know how to get him to add him. Hold on. Oh, there you go. IJ.
I told you I was going to join in.
I see. Can y'all? Okay, if we can see you. So, IJ, what are some things you practice in your spirituality?
Basically, with me, I mainly don't do much of it. Well, I do a lot of meditation and go into nature, cleanse myself, do a lot um, of course, the Bible. I do just the rituals and stuff with that, but I don't do much of anything else outside of those particular things. I do dive mainly to learning more about the chakras and just Eastern philosophy and things of that nature. So I kind of mix and match and go what feels good to me. A little bit of Kabbalah and different things like that nature. So yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? On a day to day, like I have moments where I be like, okay, I need to do more rituals on myself, and then there's moments where I'm just like, I do a lot of like manifesting, like through like
Oh
I don't
yeah.
know if y'all do this, but I do sleep meditations. Like I use YouTube and I like find like different sleep meditations that I want to do. Like if I want to do astral projection or something like that, I will turn that on. I use mugwort. I do a lot of dream work. Like because I feel like your dream, like that's the time that like you can really manifest some things. Like you're focused on it for a long period of time. You may not think you are, but you kind of like focus on it for a while.
Oh yeah. I do know people. I know one person in particular. She astral travels a lot every time she sleeps, and then she doesn't really know where she's going to go, and she wakes up really tired and beat up because of the stuff that she does in her sleep because she really goes places when she sleeps.
I used to do that too, and I hated it. Like that's how I got into like learning what sleep paralysis was because um I and then I didn't know that was astral projection, like or travel, because what I was doing was I was going to sleep, and as soon as it feels like I'm having this heavy sleep, right? So this is what I was experiencing. It feel like I'm having this heavy sleep, and I had got so good at this. But then, I mean, this went on for years. I had got so good at this, and I had this heavy sleep, and then all of a sudden I'm looking at myself sleeping, and then I could see what somebody's doing in the kitchen. If somebody in the house, I could see what they're doing in the kitchen, or I'm over here chilling with this person, or I'm over or I'm like watching like outside the window, and then that's how it started, and then it just kept like increasing. Then I was like I was with family members, and then I hated it because it was hard for it was starting to get so hard for me to wake back up. Like I started controlling my dreams of what I wanted to happen, and it got to the point where it was like hard for me to like wake up. And so because I would literally be sitting here trying to concentrate, and I'd be like moving my toes and moving my hand. It'll take me in the dream state. It felt like a minute, but it felt like it probably was a minute, but it was like feel like a long time, like trying to wake myself up. And then when I wake up, I was not. I was so tired, and I hated it. And I used to just be praying, like, and this is before I got really, really deep into spirituality. I used to be asking God, like, God, please take that away from me. I don't want that gift. I was like, I do not want that gift. Like, it drove me crazy.
Now, I do remember this. Once you mentioned that, thought about um, going to going to sleep and feeling like you're living a whole lifetime. And a thought I remember a couple of weeks ago when my brother had me try those mushrooms.
Hmm.
I did have a thought. I said, I felt like I was living whole lifetimes in a single thought. I'm like, well, what is a thought? And then that made me think because everything is now. And so, yeah, when you do sleep, and like time really is meaningless in a way where it's not what we think it is. So, yeah,
Yeah. Diamond says, I think I be going places in my dreams at times. If something happened to me in my dreams, it actually hurt. Yeah. Like my mom used to say this. She said, because my mama doesn't dream or whatever. She always say she doesn't dream unless it's something important. But she was like saying like, oh, if you die in your dreams, you die in real life, and that's actually not true. So Diamond made me think about that because like I used to be like always falling. Something about my dreams was like I was always falling, like falling from high places. It's like the ability to let go, right? So I was always falling from high places, and then I was always like being chased for some reason. It's like I went through a period. It's like I could, and then it was like I had another period of my life where I was like never in the dream. It was like I was watching somebody else's movie. It was never me. It's just like I was just on the ride, and I'm like, who life is this? Like who life is this? So,
have you ever
uh,
thought that you might have been looking at your life through different lifetimes, like different periods of your life and other time periods and things like that? If it's not your life now, but some other like either past or future version of your life.
I don't know. At the time, I didn't. Like now, we analyzing my dreams and stuff. Maybe but it's like, why was I always running then? Why do you think I was always running in my dreams?
Maybe because it might be something that you're dealing with from other aspects of your life. You know, we unconsciously carry aspects of our personality, like from past lives and stuff like that. So maybe the running thing is something that you've dealt with before. Who knows?
I mean, it could have been because I promise you, it was like I was always running with somebody, and it was never me. I mean, it was absolutely never me. But I always said, "Hey, I had told my best friend at the time. I was like, I should start writing my dreams down. I said, it's somebody else's life I'm living. It's like I'm never in it, and it's like they always got an adventure, and I'm always with them. But I never. It's like they don't recognize me or whatever in the dreams. But it's like
Yeah,
I'm always like on the go with this person. She said you've been running from love. Probably. I agree with that. So let's move on. Let me see the next question. Because I wrote like 5 questions or four. Okay. What are some lessons learned in your spiritual journey? Do you have any like things that you felt like you learned in your spiritual journey that you
oh
want to
yeah,
share with somebody else?
yeah. Always be open because you never know it all. Even when you think you do, life has a way of surprising you. So I always learn to be open and be adaptable. That's pretty much the thing that I've learned. Always stay green and grow, pretty much.
Yeah, for real. Like I think that if you break it down like that, like on the openness, that's dope. I think like for me too, it's like I'm kind of open and I try like not to be so closed minded.
But have
But
your boundaries. Always
hmm,
make sure you have your boundaries too. Keep them firm. Be open,
yeah,
but the boundaries.
Yeah, I think like sometimes I'm one of those people that I just be wanting to learn something or learn something new. Like if somebody told me I want to like understand like, what they've gone through or understand like their spiritual journey or how it relates over to them. Like I said, for me, I learned that like I have power. That like sometimes you have to get out the matrix. You get what I'm saying? And when you think about the matrix, you think
Oh yeah,
about like um we all are in the matrix to a certain degree, but it's like you trying to do your best to get out this matrix. That's something I learned. And I think that being open to that like opens up other doors of like reality and like goodness. Because sometimes like I don't believe in being closed minded. I'm okay with like knowing something and not like I don't have to be that doesn't have to be applicable to my life. You get what I'm saying? Like
exactly. Yeah, that's where the
so,
whole boundary thing come in for me. It's like
yeah.
even though I know these different aspects of life exist, but I also know that that might not necessarily be for me. I can understand it, but not necessarily practice it. So
Right, right. And that's the thing. And so that's for me. Like for me, like I like I said, like it's a lot of people I know people on here at one point on my channel and I feel like everything is like cycles and a way to learn from other people. Like it was a period of time that a lot of women was even like I had like one guy that was recently talking about like putting these like spells on these on their love life or on a person. And I was like I would never do that. If I thought about doing it, like the fact that like how I feel like there is some type of obsession to do that, like once you recognize like there's a obsession of why you feel like you have to control somebody to try to make them love them, I feel like that was too much, and that was like a boundary for me. Another boundary or something I learned is that I would never do like I don't know, I wouldn't do like any type of hatred spell towards anybody or any something
mhm.
like that, because like it's like it I only want to do stuff to better myself. It's not I would work with the elements to better myself, not work with the elements to harm somebody. I just don't believe in
Right.
all of that. So it's like, it's all about where you are and what you do. Like some people, I know people, they do their manifestations and they don't actually do anything. They just speak it. Now it used to be like that, but now nowadays I'm like I don't even know if I don't even trust it no more. I be like, let me speak. I'll speak into existence for a little while, and if it doesn't happen, I'm like, let me change it.
Here's the
Yeah.
thing I've noticed that, well, yeah, there are people that exclusively walk in the dark, people exclusively walk in the light. I know well enough that you need both to actually be able to have a way to see things clearly. But I do know that there are some things that I refuse to do. Like, I'm not going to do anything that particularly violates somebody's free will, or I don't want to do anything that intentionally causes damage to somebody else because it's like I know that putting that energy out, it has to go somewhere. So it will eventually come back to you. And I don't want that shit to come back to me.
Sometimes it do, sometimes it don't. Honestly,
No,
I
well, yeah,
actually don't believe in karma. I
not
stopped believing in
necessarily you,
karma.
but probably somebody else that you do that's attached to you. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, for me, and that's the thing too. I've learned that like not to pay too much attention to karma. I used to be like that. Like, oh, they're gonna get like they did me wrong, they did me dirty.
No,
they're gonna get their get back. God gonna get them. But then I started looking at a lot of times like people who like consistently do negative stuff. They don't always get their karma. Sometimes they do. Sometimes like they're good, whatever their good luck of mistreating you or doing things run out. I believe that, but like actually karma,
I'll put
like I don't believe in that no more. I used to, but like a lot of people who do dirt, they consistently do dirt for a long time, and like nothing happens to them.
I'll put it this way. I wouldn't necessarily put it in karma in the way that we think of it. I'll say it this way. Eventually, when you do stuff, people get paranoid to the point where their own paranoia will do themselves in. So it's like that's the way I look at things now. It's not necessarily looking for a get back that you can personally see, but it's more like the idea of that people are so looking out over their shoulders for the shit that they do to other people, it's that their own paranoia will do them in more so than anything that you can do to them.
That's true. I believe that. Um, because like, and I actually when I started doing like working with the Orishas and stuff like that, they don't actually believe in a lot of karma because they a lot of times, and like it made me like look deeper of like that too, because like a lot of times like some people do spell work. I like one thing I'm gonna say this because this is a spiritual thing. Like some people do spell work and it never works. I feel like, you know, and sometimes they do and it do work. But I do feel like what's meant for you is gonna be meant for you. And like I wouldn't be in the mindset of like if you do a love spell, you gotta keep doing a love spell. Like it eventually wears off because that person realized like I ain't really in love with that girl. I ain't really in love with that guy like that.
Oh yeah,
You gotta constantly do that. And I feel like that is in the mindset of a lot of other stuff. It's like you don't just if you are kind of bending the wheels to a certain degree, I do feel like you have to consistently, just like you put any effort into anything else, you have to consistently keep doing the work.
yeah.
Like, so if you're trying to get something good, big, like you're trying to get $1 million, you can't expect to do, and that's just like in life when you think about like law and order. Like, if you was trying to get, if your job told you that you're gonna make $100,000 here a year, and you only work there a week, you're not gonna get the $100,000, right? You have to keep showing up every day or 5 days a week to get the $100,000. So I feel like that kind of like goes back to like spirituality too. Like
Yeah.
you can't just think that you're gonna do one thing and that's gonna automatically change your life. Like
Oh
you
no.
have to consistently keep doing it.
Yeah, spirituality is the practice, but the other thing that I've noticed is that you'll never really find peace in anything that's not really meant for you. Like we all have these things that are quote unquote, I won't quite say meant for us, but these paths that have the best potential for us to walk in when the opportunity comes. And when we do stuff that's not necessarily aligned with that path, it's not going to work out, or at least not work out well. Like those binding spells, those things that you talked about earlier, those things, yeah, they can work for a period of time, but since it's not natural, quote unquote, it's not going to work or work well or even for long. So, yeah.
Totally, yep, totally agree. And I feel like that's with anything in life that you have to keep putting like whatever you want, you have to keep putting that work in. And I just like this for me. So a lot of stuff is just like I'm lazy. So like if it's talking about getting some money or working on my business, I'm all in. But some other stuff like personal stuff, I just can't see myself. Like if it's not benefiting me on a daily basis, I just can't see myself like you know keep consistently doing it. But those are things I learned. If anybody else want to drop down and say some things that y'all learned in this spiritual journey, make sure y'all drop it in the comments. Why is Diamond bothering you? I'm reading her comments. Like, Diamond is crazy. She's talking about you need a cough drop.
I don't be paying no mind. I know it's all love.
Yeah. But if y'all want to drop it in the comments, make sure y'all drop it in the comments. Like, what are some things that you learned on your in your spiritual journey? And then, let's see. Um, anything that y'all want to say that y'all found helpful? Like, what was something like not necessarily learned, but like what are some things that you like found helpful that you use on a daily or quite often?
I will say one of the weirdest experiences that happened to me that I do remember was I was sleeping one time. I was sleeping under a window, and then I felt like something bang, like hit the window, and I looked up. It's like an old lady, and I don't necessarily remember what she looked. It
Oh wow. So you found but what did you feel like that was? You feel like that was like a spirit, or what did you feel like that was? Or was that a real person, a real old lady? Was it a spirit? Can you hear me, AJ? He says phone overheated. But yeah, going back to the actual topic, things that I found helpful. Um, one thing I found helpful was like just being comfortable with who you are. And like not having like such a scared energy. Like everybody's different. Like some people like dealing with dark energy more than they like dealing with light energy. It doesn't mean that it's negative. It just means that you find like more balance in that energy, right? But one of the things I found helpful is kind of like discover your own journey, like experience some things, you know, like try candle work, if you like candles, try working with your ancestors. If you like working with your ancestors, sign yourself. If there's something that's in your life, like the thing I found helpful is like you having the ability to understand that you are connected to God. So whatever your dreams are, whatever you feel like is helpful, right, or whatever you feel like is going to help you, you utilize it. Because like, is that AJ calling me back? Um, but that's one thing I found like to be helpful. Like, don't be afraid to actually like utilize what you have and what's available, especially when it comes to nature. Like, I made these things for a reason. Like, you don't think, like, you have to think about it like this. Like, you may not think that that God intended you to use certain things for, like, to get better or prosper, but God made that for that. Like, God is the author of that, so you have to be like, okay, yeah, you may like that, but don't be afraid. Like, there's certain things of like kitchen witches where they may cook a meal and they may say, okay, I got cinnamon, I got nutmeg, stuff like that. This is going to be something that if I every time I eat this, it's going to help me make money, or I make money, or as I eat this, it's going to bring me $1,000. Like, those are, like, you can, like, I would say spell your stuff, but it's not really spelling it. You can speak life into like things in your life, or speak life in like your food, your water. Those are all part of like manifesting. And so, what was you saying, AJ, before your
Um,
phone dropped?
yeah, yeah, yeah. So what I was saying was I was sleeping under a window, and then it was like an old lady that was banging on the window, and I felt like the room vibrate, but I wasn't quite sure if I was asleep or awake. And then something I told the lady, I said, "Go away, like you don't have any power, whatnot." But I knew that she wasn't really here. And then like she went away. But that was the craziest experience where I've seen an entity that I haven't seen since I was younger. So yeah.
Yeah, I personally haven't experienced that. Knock on wood, I've never experienced that. I don't think that I want to see spirits and see, like, you. That's kind of like your boundaries. Like, you're open to seeing that. Me, I'm not so open. Now I can understand that they're here, but I don't want to see it. Like, that's just not me. But I mean, a lot of people don't have any control over it. Like, we all have different spiritual gifts. Like, that would spook me out. I'm like, I gotta go. Have you ever heard of like seeing objects,
Oh yeah,
seeing
no, that
people?
that did freak me out. I'm not gonna say it didn't, but I knew I knew she didn't have power. So I said, nah, you go away. And then I took that energy and I kind of like blessed the house, blessed the area around the house and stuff like that. So that was wild.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I would probably done the same thing. I remember, this is funny because in my old house, I had a condo that I was renting from this old lady, and I really feel like there was a ghost up in there. And the reason why I know it was a ghost up in there, because I would put something in there in the house and I would not find it. Like, it was moving my
Oh yeah.
stuff like that, and I felt like somebody must have had passed in that house, because baby, when I tell you that ghost was stuck, it was stuck there. That spirit was stuck there. But I'm gonna tell you this: I remember falling asleep, and I lit a candle, and um I had fell asleep, and the candle was like, it was actually a ritual candle, whatever. And the candle was like, had caught, it had like the little herbs and stuff, and the candle had caught up on fire. And I was deep sleep, and I kept hearing the door move. You know what I'm saying? I just kept like moving back and forth, like ding, ding, ding. And then but I wasn't waking up. I kept hearing it, but it didn't, in my mind, it just didn't like click, like, oh, like something going on here, right? So it kept getting louder, and louder. Like the door just kept like moving left to right. Like it was like real loud or whatever. And I woke up and I said, "Oh my gosh." And like whatever that spirit in the house, it did not want to pass because it was like, yeah, some going on. You know what I'm saying? Like I woke up and I put the candle out, but it was like that thing had been going off for a long time. It was just like I could because I heard it, but I wasn't waking up. It's like I heard it in my sleep. But you know how like things in
Hmm.
reality becomes like part of your dreams. That's how it was. It was like I heard that noise, but I'm dreaming about it. I'm not doing anything to actually do something in the physical because it's like what is I'm like I'm still asleep, but I remember that. That was like I think that house, that condo I lived in, it like made me more comfortable because I knew that it was something going on in that house. But and like I always knew that you always have power over it. You always have power over like different spirits. Just like you told her to go. I used to say the same thing. Like you always have power in something because like your flesh. Like as long as you in the flesh, you're gonna have power over spirits.
Hmm.
So, is there anything else that you found that was helpful that helped you along with your spiritual journey?
Oh, um, yeah. The other thing I've learned is like just like reading different books and listening to different things, but also realizing that, like I said earlier, you don't have to put into practice everything that you see, and also realizing that everything you see is for you. Once you
Mm-hmm.
realize that and make peace with that, it becomes a lot easier to, even though you see stuff that looks cool or see stuff that looks scary, like recognizing that that may not necessarily be for you and you're cool with that, it makes things so much easier.
That's true. I agree. Like some things you're drawn to, like some things you're just absolutely drawn to. Some things are just like in your inheritance. You get what I'm saying? Um, it's in everybody
Hmm.
inheritance.
Like everybody
Well,
I'll put it this way. Everybody has a family gift or part of the bloodline, something that you may not even know exists, but you don't have to do it. That's the beauty of it. You don't
you
have to
don't.
follow
You
that.
don't. A lot of people don't do it. Like in this day and age, a lot of people don't do a lot of stuff that our ancestors did. But I will say this: it is a part of your family heritage to like
Yeah, it's in your DNA.
practice like ancestor, like honor your ancestors. Even though we try not like in America, we don't do that. But a lot of other countries do that, and it's all it is just like remembering your people because their spirit never dies. So it's always like that's one thing I just feel like every culture has done at some point is like honor their ancestors. Think about like the Spanish people; they had like November 1st is the Day of the Dead, right?
Hmm.
They at 12 o'clock they're putting the food out, they're doing their little ancestor altar, but it's all like it's in some ways you can never forget who your people are or your family or your ancestors are because they are a part of you and that like so being
Yeah,
aware, like you said, you could be aware. You need to be aware. You actually practicing that, you don't actually have to practice it, but
yeah,
it could help your life more than harm your life. You know what I'm saying? But having
absolutely.
that balance there is great.
Absolutely, we had added protection and stuff like that. And here's the other thing: every culture does that. Even in we don't even real recognize it for what it is. Even in Catholicism, they honor the saints and stuff like that. So that's still part of honoring. Quote, they may not necessarily be your ancestors, but honoring those people that came before. So yes, that's in every culture, to be honest.
Yep, it is.
But we just don't recognize it for what it is.
We don't even like when you go into like an Asian store, like they like even every time I go into like an H Mart or like any type of like Asian stores, there's always this big altar. Like you may not even realize that that's an altar at the door, or they have like that little cat, with that cat that be moving the arm or whatever to
Hmm.
bring
The
in the
lucky cat.
money. The lucky cat, like that's a good a good thing to bring in the money. And like if you go to any Asian um culture, they have a cat. I remember I was in Louisiana and like they had something weird. It was they had I had to look it up. They had this turkey. I guess it was just an altar. I mean an altar or whatever, but it was on the floor. And like I went to the nail shop and like this they had this turkey. It didn't look like it was cooked, but it was just like in the corner on the floor and it was for the holidays and I was like they probably giving this over. My mom was like scared, like, what is that? Maybe we shouldn't be here. But I was like, I didn't even say nothing to her because I knew she was scared of it. But I was like, that's probably just an ancestor altar or like some type of ritual that they doing that's for they people. You know what I'm saying? So everybody, every culture has something that they're doing
Yeah.
that to honor their ancestors. But so that's what I found that was helpful for me, like working with my ancestors, like recognizing like what I'm comfortable and what I'm not comfortable with. Is a lot of stuff that I I'm aware of that I don't do, and there's a lot of stuff that I'm okay with that I don't do. You get what I'm saying? Like it's some things like I'm like I probably would do that if I had a reason, but like if I don't have a reason, it's like what's the point of doing that? You know. So it's a lot of stuff that I've learned here. Let me see if I have any more questions. Okay. So what are some things that you would like to do spiritually? Like to learn spiritually.
That's a good question. I gotta think about that more.
Or anybody on here, what are some things that y'all would like to learn spiritually? Um, I'm still learning about like quantum leaping. Like I get the concept, but it's like something I wouldn't mind like learning more about.
Oh, that definitely that. I want to learn. I want to learn more. I'll say this. I would like to learn more how to bring the stuff that I see in my mind that feel real into physical reality. Now I know that we do that on an unconscious level, and when we're not even thinking about that. But I would like to learn how to do that consciously and faster.
Yeah, that's kind of like where I'm at. Like anything with manifesting, I actually want to get to the point where like whatever I think I can manifest it. My grandma used to say that. Well, my grandma used to walk around the house and she say like, whatever I speak, come into existence. Whatever I want, I get it. Now, the time frame I have no control over, but the fact that I know that I'm going to get it, I just you just have to learn how to be patient with it. And I always thought that I was like, okay, I need to be like that. I need to have more faith like that. And like, I wanted to be like one of those people, like you know, I go meditate and then like right after my meditation it comes into existence or I start to see the work. I want to be my own vessel as far as like manifestation. And so
Hmm.
that's some things I've been like looking into, like a lot of stuff you start with affirmations, meditation, stuff like that. But I've been like, sometimes I be feeling like that takes so I have manifest stuff just off of manifestations. I mean, by saying well affirmations, right?
Hmm.
But sometimes it takes so long for that to happen. But I'm constantly repeating it. You get what I'm saying? I'm constantly speaking into existence. I've tried the affirmations where you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you no, what is it? Why does money keep falling in my lap? I've tried
Yeah.
that, um, those type of things, but I want to be like more of like a vessel. You get what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Like I just manifest stuff in that manner. But I love personally, I love because Diamond said she started to light a candle and talk to her ancestors. I love like candle work. Like I think because I'm a fire sign, I naturally uh work good with candles. Like you a water sign, you may find yourself working good with like water magic or you know what I'm
I've
saying?
I've heard that the different elements, like whatever you elements, that there's a different association with them as far as not quite unquote magic, because magic energy, whatever, it's all the same thing. Just
Mm-hmm.
different words for it, but different energy associated with that. But with water magic, you're good with scrying and be able to heal and stuff like that. With air, you're able to speak. You're able to do a lot of you'll work really well with your voice. And with fire, you're able to it's passion. So yeah, candle magic and stuff like that. And with earth, that's I forgot exactly what's really associated with that, but there are different things associated with different things.
Earth is like herbs. So they work good with like herbs, they work good with like grounding themselves, anything with outdoor magic, that would
Hmm.
be good for earth magic. I mean, like
Oh, like being like those healers, like will go to the, you know how your great grandmother and stuff, but people say like, yeah, you go out into the garden and say, all right, so look for this herb, look for that herb, look at that herb, mix it together, boom, you're healed. That's what it is.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Like so like people who works with herbs, they probably like people who are earth sign, they probably like cooking or they probably like working with like flowers or having like, my mom actually is really good with plants, right? And like when you walk into her house, it's like she has so many plants or whatever. And she like, I cannot, I promise you, like I suck with growing plants. They always die. But like the energy from the plants seems like high vibration. And so that's how she
Hmm.
keeps her spirits lifted because she's, or that's how she can go out there and be like thinking about something or trying to like manifest something. If she's out here planning and using her hands, like she can manifest it. So that's another way, like, if you like into like earth magic or like, I don't like calling it magic because it's really not magic. I just think that it's getting more in tune with the earth. You know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
what your spirituality is. Because even if you work with deities or not, like it's all about like your what you into, it's all about like you, if without you it never happens. So it's like I feel like it's, I don't really call it magic. I just think that you're just coming like one with yourself and like understanding like where to go to get certain things. Actually, like in the Bible, like Solomon
Hmm.
was a king that he had all his knowledge, but he had all his knowledge because he knew so much about he had these different seals and he knew so much about like what to use what for what. You get what I'm saying? And so a
Yeah.
lot it so with
He
that
asked
being
for
said,
wisdom, and he got wisdom in a way that we might think would be unconventional. Yeah.
right, it may seem like it's magic, but it really wasn't magic. It was like like he understood the earth, and how to manifest through the earth. And maybe like on some, like they say he worked. It talks about it in the Bible, like he works with different spirits or says stuff to different spirits. He like that's all magic when you think about it. Or you want to say it's magic, but that's all a part of like, spirituality. Like that's going on a deeper level, like actually understanding. I like Solomon. I love reading about Solomon because I feel like you learn so like in a way it makes you feel a little more comfortable. That's where we used to be at in this world. We're just not there now. But it's like, and to be on that type of level, it's kind of like you kind of find like people look at you strange. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh my gosh, like like you're doing the wrong thing. Like, no, this is how God wanted us to be,
Hmm.
but we decided to turn our back on whatever that was. So, oh, hold on. Did I have another question? I mean, another thing? Because okay, we already did that. Things we found helpful. Okay, so this is for everybody because I did a whole slideshow, as y'all see. This is for everybody. Like, if I wanted to add the book club thing on here, like a book that you can read. So, and we can talk about it. Y'all can put some recommendations if you want. IJ, if you have a recommendation for a book, let us know. We'll vote on it and see what book we want to read. But I chose The Four Agreements, The Secret, and the Universal Law of Awakening. Personally, I read 2 out of 3 of these books. I've never read the Universal Laws of Awakening, but I read the summary and it sounded pretty good. But do you have any book recommendations?
No, but it's funny this came up because I was just on another live listening to one just last night. Somebody was talking about The Secret. I read that book and I watched the documentary about that. But this person has watched it for a lot of times, and she has used that as part of her journey because now she's a multimillionaire. Been that for a couple of damn near 10 years. Well, no, I'll say about 5 years now. But she used that as a catalyst to begin thinking about just aspect of life and feeling different. So I'm down with The Secret.
The Secret, yeah, okay. So, but the Four Agreements and the Universal Laws all kind of put you. I wanted like some kind of like beginner level books where we can all start like opening our minds up to the idea of like being able to manifest things through your mind. Like nothing real scary, nothing out, nothing out the way. It's just like, okay, this is simple. We could like the Four Agreements is really good. The Secret, I read I think I read like three of her books. They are pretty good. You can find the book, The Secret, on YouTube. What I'll do is we can do that book. If everybody's okay with that, we can do that book. Um, and then I'll drop the link because I found that on YouTube for free. So, but you said that person manifested. Hey, Shania, you said $1 million.
Well, she is a multi-millionaire.
Oh, a multimillionaire. Okay.
she's a business speaker and coach and things. So doing that now, but that started that process was that book and some other books that she's read to start thinking about her life and pivoting from where it was before. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, we can if everybody is cool with it. What I'll do is I will actually put this as a poll just to make sure because everybody's not on here. See what people want to read and we can discuss that book. If there's anything that you guys want to talk about, like I wanted to make this a healing thing, anything that's on your mind or anything like that you want to talk out. This is the perfect opportunity. Is there anything on your mind, IJ? I know your life is going so good.
Actually, it's getting a lot better. Like I said, these previous 5 years before now, they have been interesting. I would say since I turned 33, like immediately after I turned 33, that master number that I'm not going to get into numerology behind that, but got into a serious car crash like a month after my birthday. Then a lot of stuff kind of shifted. Um, like hospital for a while. The ex, that Leo ex, she never came visited me. None of that stuff right there. Then she had a situation with somebody else, had a child, and all that kind of stuff. So that shifted a lot of things. And in that time period, I was angry, upset, and all that kind of stuff like that. But I've realized that if I didn't go through none of that right there, then I wouldn't be where I am. So that took me, it was a hard pill for me to swallow and at first to really understand, like, damn, why I'm going through this, why this healing journey was like a up, down, up, down, up, down thing. But man, right now I'm at a place where like none of that, none of that shit matters to me anymore. So I'm feeling good. And I know that things are only going to get better from here. So yeah,
And is
that,
there anything that you learned from that situation, like that you want to share that maybe can help somebody else?
oh yeah, and it's okay to be upset and okay to be angry. I learned that. And I tell that to clients and stuff I talk to, like, man, it's like, okay, and I understand why the hell this stuff happening to you. But you also got to have that perspective where, you got to write stuff down sometimes, just to get those thoughts out of your head. Because if you hold on to those thoughts in your mind, like you're dealing more so with the emotions of how the stuff make you feel. And you never really get to address the situation itself. So giving you that space between yourself and your thoughts is important. And by doing that, it gives you the space to begin thinking about, different ways in which you can uh, switch your mind to stuff you can control. And then from there, then getting out, you can begin getting out into the meditation, getting into nature, all that kind of stuff right there that leads into those other aspects of spirituality that, you may neglect. All that comes hand in hand because as you feel good mentally, physical, spiritual, all that's interconnected.
Yeah, that is true. And so, if you had to give them one thing from what you said, like an advice to like go for the next 2 weeks on, like you said, what would you say? You said to be, it's okay to be angry, or what would you say?
Feel your feelings, but don't get lost in them. I'll put it that way.
And then, as you feel your feelings, do you feel like that is connected to anything on a spiritual level, or do you
Yeah,
think that's okay?
because I'll say that it's feel your feelings, but don't get lost in them. Because when you feel your feelings are intrinsically tied into manifestation. Because the emotion is just energy in motion. So it's like you have to understand what you're feeling, and then you can use that energy to help manifest the stuff that you want. Or because of the feelings, you can manifest more shit you don't want. But it's important that when you realize what it is that you're feeling and why you're feeling it way, you have the power to break that emotion so you don't keep manifesting shit you don't want.
Yeah, I do. That's true because like it's hard to manifest when you like sad. It really is. Like or you feel like that's why I wanted to start with like some books to help us open up our minds too because it is hard to manifest and it's hard to think big when you can only think in your situation.
But
You
here's the
know?
thing. Here's the thing that I've been listening to this guy really recently, and helped me reframe my thoughts about that. Even when you're feeling sad and when you're feeling angry and stuff, you're still manifesting, but you're not manifesting stuff that you want. You're manifesting more of those feelings of things that you're feeling. So when you're feeling sad, angry, upset, the universe is going to magnify and maintain. So that's two things. You're going to magnify the feelings that you're feeling. So you're going to bring more stuff that makes you feel angry, sad, and stuff like that. And it's going to maintain that feeling. You're going to manifesting more of those stuff that make you feel that way until you intentionally change how you're feeling. And then when you change that, then that shifts. And it may take a little second for, universe or God or whatever to catch to clear out that residual energy of that uh, stuff, and then you can bring in more stuff that you're feeling now. But yeah, you're still manifesting. You're just not manifesting the stuff that you want because you're dealing with the energy of the stuff that you don't want.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like that is true, and that's what I didn't say that, but that's what I was thinking. Like you manifest more negativity when you're upset. You when you're upset and you're not processing your emotions. You have the ability to manifest more angry situations, or so it's like if I just lost my job and unless I could see it or feel it that I'm about to become a millionaire and I become a victim of my situation, I probably couldn't manifest $10,000. But if I could like see it and feel it, even if I lost my job and I feel like okay, well I'm gonna make 10,000, I mean $1 million and feel happy about it and feel excited about it, then I'm gonna manifest it. But if I sit up here and then like it ain't gonna really happen to me, but I want $1 million though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
that puts you at odds with with the stuff you say you want. So a lot of times we unconsciously block ourselves from stuff because it doesn't feel out of our reach. Because it feels out of our reach. So if we can't conceptualize $1 million, we'll kind of break it down. So and if we can't do $1 million, then $100,000. Does that sound more reasonable? No, maybe not. But if I can do 50,000 a year, well, yeah, that sounds reasonable. I can do that because that's like what, maybe $1,000 a day. Once you're able to recognize that, then the other stuff don't feel like it's unobtainable. Once you have something that you can give yourself proof of.
that's true. I totally agree. Um, with that. And I think the secret kind of like helps you with that too. So I'm gonna add it on a poll after, this live is over with. And that way we can like see what book we want to read. But I think that you're totally right. I also trying to go to my next slide. Um, so this is like I said, we're gonna do this every because well, yeah, we're gonna do this like twice a month at least. Like if y'all need more, y'all let me know. Um, but I do want y'all to always go on my website at ltspiritual.com to buy your spiritual products or to you know, book a ritual or whatever you want to do. Now, if y'all want to volunteer and help me come up with topics, if you guys want to help me come up with topics, then you guys can also go to email me at enchantingjoy@gmail.com. So I am looking for volunteers. I can't do this on my own, but make sure y'all are emailing me things that y'all want to learn. And I'm sorry I did dropped you off. But anyway, y'all, it is going to be the end of this live. I hope you guys got something out of it. Make sure y'all reach out to me. Any topics, anything you want to learn, if you want to help me, if you're good at doing videos or PowerPoints, like I could totally use your help because I want to make sure that we do this all the time and we keep flowing and keep growing. I feel like I got something out of it. I hope you guys got something out of it.